Now, before we begin, I have one other video I want to play. It's very short. It's only 2 minutes. At first, you may say, what does that have to do with this? But if you listen to the middle, you will see exactly what it has to do with this. It's a scene from The Lord of the Rings. Remember, the character Bilbo Baggins represents J.R.R. Tolkien, who was a very philo-Judaic Catholic, probably from the Lost Tribes himself. For Tolkien, the dwarves were, he wrote it and said it, modeled on Jews, the wandering Jews who have no home. And listen to what Bilbo Baggins, representing J.R. Tolkien, says, and you will hear the voice of 500 years of English restorationists whose rallying cry in the 19th century became to right an ancient wrong. Just 1 second, let's go and listen.
He's thought of nothing but his soft bed and his warm hearth since first he stepped out of his door. We will not be seeing our hobbit again. He is long gone.
No, he isn't.
Kids, I've never been so glad to see anyone in my life.
Papa, we've given you up. How on earth did you get past the goblins?
How indeed.
Oh, what does it matter? He's back.
It matters. I want to know. Why did you come back?
Look, I know you doubt me. I know you always have. And you're right, I often think of Bag End. I miss my books. And my armchair, my garden. See, that's where I belong. That's home. And that's why I came back, 'cause you don't have one. A home. It was taken from you. But I will help you take it back if I can.
For Tolkien, Bilbo Baggins, the hobbits represented the quintessential Englishman of small town England, the real England, and he saw in Bilbo Baggins himself. And the dwarves, as he said, to him represented the Jews as he knew them, the wandering Jews who have no home. And you hear Thorin, the dwarf king, says, Gandalf the wizard, what does it matter? And Thorin says, it matters. I want to know why you came back. And Bilbo says, I love my home. It's true. But you don't have one. And I want to help you get it back. In those words, you have 500 years of English restorationist thought. And what England did in the 19th century then was handed after World War II America. And again, you see Judah here embattled in the land of Israel as we are. And a Manasseh waking up in the land of America and Ephraim in England, where it's a very hard wake up, but they're waking up as the reunification process of the 12 tribes of Jacob, Israel, is underway worldwide. That's why I played the second one, because that's what Yair, who is one of the world's leading researchers on the lost tribes, the founder of Brit-Am, Hebrew Awareness, many books, essays, videos, has been his whole life working, and Steve, who's with us, to awaken Israelite consciousness in the lost tribes nations, especially among the English-speaking peoples, Northwest Europe and Scandinavia. And I'll throw in the Afrikaners, who are under terrible assault in South Africa right now. The Dutch, who are also from the lost tribes, we believe. And we are living in biblical prophetic times. One of the ways I know that, I don't need, is people who out there who wouldn't see or have themselves seen as being particularly religious keep referring to it's biblical, it's biblical. Yes, boys and girls, it's biblical. That's very good. So they're starting to notice, wow, the scale, the speed of which things are happening seems to be biblical. And and these are coming from people who don't normally identify themselves as being religious, regardless of the religion. So what is the expression? There are no atheists in the trenches and the foxholes. Well, the number of atheists, since we're all in the trenches and the foxholes now, everywhere, the number of at least open atheists seems to be declining. And that's, of course, what God wants, that the whole world will come to know him, preferably not in a rough way, but if necessary, so good cop, bad cop, a rough way. On that note, in the Hebrew, when it says, Isaiah says, I have to look at the exact reference, God says, I've created the mashchit lechabel, the destroyer to destroy. Mechabel in modern Hebrew is what is called a terrorist, a murderer. God says, I've created, when I want to mean business for an individual or a nation that I, for whatever reason, choose to destroy, I can harness all the forces of nature. It doesn't have to be a fire-breathing dragon with like Smaug in the Lord of the Rings. It could be. It can simply an earthquake, an asteroid, gamma rays, tsunamis, plagues. It can be anything he wants. It can be a virus in someone's head. He has unlimited. So when we read in, as we did, let's see what we were just on Parshat Beshalach, and 2 weeks ago in Parshat Bo, the 10th plague at midnight, where God strikes dead the firstborn of the Egyptians. Look very carefully at the text. It says the mashchit, the destroyer. God sent the destroyer. And it seems to certainly pretty clear that in our new beginning of days, he has a lot of mashchitim out there doing his work. Now, of course, it would be nice if today all the nations stopped fighting and said, you know what? Why are we killing each other? Let's go help the Israelites rebuild the third and final temple of Jerusalem. Why do we have to fight with each other, sink each other's, blow up ships? That's not necessary. But of course, if that's their choice, just see Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, which precede chapter 40 to 48, which describe the building of the third and final Israelite temple of Jerusalem. The sequence is very clear, chapter 36, 37, 30, that the resurrection of the dry bones, the 12 tribes of Jacob, Israel, it's all right there, right? That there'll be one king and there'll be one city and one Malchut and one temple, all right there, 37. Then boom, well, Gog, the leader of Magog and his alliance as well, now maybe we can really finish them off. And that's one way. It looks like it might happen that way with Iran, as some rabbis have said, listen, 1,000 years ago it said in Yalkut Shimoni, in the end, Persia will destroy the world. If anyone doesn't notice us at this point with the ships that having trouble going through the Suez Canal, where the Houthis, that's a Shiite tribe backed by Iran, backed by communist Chinese dictatorship, are firing missiles and rockets and drones at the ships. Can't help them. So we live in prophetic biblical times, and it's very inspiring to have teachers like Yair and Steve. And I know they have colleagues I'm not aware of to help us get through those times. All the Israelite nations are under assault everywhere. Just ask the people on the border of Mexico and the United States what they think about that. So yeah, also some people are waking up quickly in a very rough way. And we're very grateful to have leaders emerging like Milei in Argentina and Geert Wilders, forgive me if I pronounced it wrong, in Holland. They're emerging. And I know they'll continue to emerge.